Welcome everyone. My name is Andrew Salinas, and I'd like to welcome everyone in the audience and everyone who's on Zoom or online this morning. We are here today for the Chief of Police Public Forum for the Ventura County Community College District. And before me, I have our first candidate, Matthew Crawford, who's going to be answering 12 questions over the next 45 minutes. So welcome, Matthew. And let's start with question number 1. Okay, so please tell us how your educational background, experience, and qualifications have prepared you to serve as Chief of Police of the Ventura County Community College District. Why do you want this position in this district at this point in your career?
So, I've been a police officer for 28 years. I started in, I'm East Coast, so Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Steelers, they're doing well. So I started there, and I moved up to Erie, Pennsylvania. And at that point, Erie, Pennsylvania is on Lake Erie. And if no one's familiar with lake effect snow, it snows in May, and they're softball size. It's literally freezing all year. So anyways, my family moved down to Charlotte area, which is in North Carolina, and I found Rock Hill, South Carolina. I was an officer there for 5 years, but I got involved with the SRO program. So that really facilitated my moving toward the educational process of it. So I ran a Worthy Boys and Girls Camp for underprivileged children, so that was great. We had to get money. It was a nonprofit organization, and we made money for them to stay, and when we'd take trips, it was really interesting to see these individuals never been out of the city of Rock Hill, and they'd go to Charlotte, North Carolina, and they thought they were in a different world. It was awesome. So we did a lot of activities with them. So my mom ended up working at Coastal Carolina University, is where I'm currently at. She saw my potential, and she encouraged me to come here. So there. So when I started there, I was an officer, worked hard, and I went to school. And I graduated in 2019 from the Intelligence and National Security Program. They didn't have criminal justice, so that's as close as we could get. So at that point, I really loved education. I was really thought it was the most important part because I was working at a school as well. So then I got my master's degree at Charleston Southern University. It's in Charleston, South Carolina. From there on, I'm currently working on my doctorate at Liberty University, which is very challenging when you're trying to work and do your role as a captain. So currently I started as a police officer, worked all the way up to a captain where I'm at now. I'm second in charge right underneath the chief. We don't have anything, deputy chiefs or anything. We just have the captains and the chief. We have 2 captains. I'm responsible for patrol, internal investigations. I do all our accidents investigations, and we have a captain also for investigations. So he's part of that, and I'm on the other side of it. So I do all the admin stuff as well. I'm huge into Cleary, and I'm a really big nerd with Cleary. So I do our Cleary, and I obviously did my research and looked at your Cleary. It's actually very, very good compared to ours. Ours is, we're busy, so with things that we don't want to be busy with. So I also as well educate. I work at Horry Georgetown Technical College. I'm a professor there, adjunct. So I like to, it sounds cool though, saying you're a professor. So I teach criminal justice there. So I really enjoy it, and they're putting me into corrections now. I'm doing corrections, and that's different. I'm learning with them because never was in the corrections part of it. So, long story short, I really love working at a university, and I think my opportunity here brings me to why I want to come here. Is my aunt lives around the area. She's more in Arizona. My mom wants to move out this way, and family's huge with me. I've always followed her around. I was mentioned I lost my father a couple years ago, and she's moving in with her sister, but she's really encouraged me to come out here because she wants to move out here. I don't know if I'd want that though, but it'd be great. No, I'm kidding. I love her to death. So with that, that's why the opportunity presented itself. I think it's a great opportunity to show my vision from the East Coast and what I've learned at Coastal Carolina for the last 16 years, and bring it over to this area because I do all the work of a chief does. I'm with budget. I do everything we can with him. But yeah, that's about. I think I hit all the highlights there on those ones. I think so.
So, okay, question number 2. What is your leadership philosophy? Please provide an example of how you have demonstrated your leadership during regular daily circumstances.
All right. I believe in the transformational type of policing where there's input. Look, you're in charge, but I believe that you don't know everything, and you can get input from your officers and have them be part of being a leadership as well. You're replaceable. I think it's important to train the next person to take your job, and that's what I do now. I think everybody needs to know my job. I'm not going to be one of those officers that hides their job and says, well, I'm not going to tell you what I do because I don't want you taking my job. I think it's important for everybody to know what everybody does. That I believe that's the most important part of it. I think, yeah, so more of a transformational. Love doing it. Love working with people. I love talking with people. I do our orientation in front of all the families, and I love doing that because we have all these new opportunities that we do, and I love doing. And I mentioned everybody, which like we do these coffee with cop, pizza with public safety. We're none of those, but donuts with deputies. And I know I'm going off script here, but I'm a huge fan of those. It's my staple, my diet. I'm sure if you can, I got to try and cover it up, but I love all those. So I'm a huge Dunkin' Donut guy. I go every morning and get coffee and a donut. But anyways, I like those opportunities because talking in front of the parents, reiterating to them that safety is the most important part, but we're also here to get to know everybody. And I'd rather have these opportunities for students to meet us and see us for who we are before an incident occurs. So.
Thank you. The 2024 election results have caused fear, anxiety, and upset for many of our students. With the new administration vocalizing plans for mass deportations and militarizing the police, how would you continue to reassure the campus communities that campus police is serving in the community's best interest and ensuring protection?
So I don't believe in political lines when I'm working. I know there's politics involved with Board of Trustees and working with them as well, and everybody. I know you got to talk with your stakeholders, but I would encourage them. Nothing's going to change. I don't believe that deportation is going to happen. I think we're going to be able to work through it all together, and I would reinsure everybody that safety, and we're going to make sure that they're able to stay here and get an education, whoever it is. I don't care who it is. Education is the most important part, and everybody work hard toward getting their education. But I don't believe I don't think that's going to change what's going to happen around the country. I don't believe that, but I've looked into it. I watched the news about it and everything, but I'm not sure. But my opinion is that I don't think that's going to happen, and I think it's going to make sure to encourage everybody to be positive and work toward the overall goal of getting your education.
Our department staffing levels are at a historic low, and we are struggling with recruitment and retention. Innovative change and forward progress, combined with experienced leadership, are needed to help our department grow. How will you foster positive morale, and how can your larger outside or municipal agency experience help ensure our department is moving forward in the right direction?
Retention, I think, is huge because with retention, it'll make the officers be able to talk with other officers outside in like Ventura County and get to know everybody else and let them know that it's a great place to be. And having that being said,
Sure. How will you foster positive morale?
I believe in changing things. Like I saw the policy for us. I mentioned that there's no beard policy, and I'm here sporting a beard. 28 years I've been a police officer. For the last 23 years, I didn't have a beard, and I've had one, and I think I look good. My wife hates it, like absolutely hates it. So that's why I'm probably keeping it. But I think it's good to have these type of. I hope she's not watching. I think it's important to have these changes. That and like tattoos. I think as long as it's not something that's bad or can't be seen, I think it's allowed to have tattoos and beards as long as they're groomed nicely. there's ways to keep retention and recruitment that encourages it all. I see a lot of we've started to do that, and we've got a lot more officers now. We just had our not a promotional, but we have officers in the for hiring, and we had about 20 officers apply because we encourage our officers to work with other departments around the area, and they see what it's like, and it's a great place to be. And like here, it's you get everything a normal police department gets, but not at the same pace. So it's important to know that it's a great place to work and finish your career, if you will, but also have a start of a career. It's great to have new officers start here and encourage other officers as well to come there.
Can you describe a time when you had to respond to a critical incident? What went well, what could have gone better, and what did you learn from the experience?
For one, we had a individual breaking into vehicles. We ended up catching the individual, and he ended up having a gun on him, and we had to wrestle with him. The important part of that was I was a lieutenant at that point, and the long story to that was when we were wrestling him, he was going for his weapon, and we didn't know he had anything. But the story is that you never know what to expect. You got to be prepared for everything, no matter where you're at or what you do. It was a scary time, and to be honest with you, and I'm lucky I had another officer there. I responded to him, and he was involved with it. But for that critical incident, it was just a eye-opening thing for training. I'm huge about training, so I started training officers for those kind of incidents because not just those, but everything. De-escalation is huge. I believe in de-escalation process and working hard with that. But that's one of the critical incidents I've responded to. Most recently, we did a active shooter in the summer, last summer. We involved FBI. It was FEMA graded us. We had what do we have? County, city, sheriffs, everybody. We had everybody involved with this. We also had hospitals, fire department, and EMS. So we had a great time with that. But we learned more than anything. Again, with the training, is that we have a lot to learn, and we are working hard to do that. Putting officers through more training for active shooter exercises and getting up to date on that. So that's where we're at, and that's where we worked at, and that's what I think is important.
Thank you. What would you see as your role as Chief of Police with regard to our students? How will you stay informed about student needs, interests, and concerns across the 3 colleges?
I believe, again, in visibility. And with that, I believe in like a student board. Have them being out there and talking with the students, because that's the only way you're going to learn anything is being out there and talking with them. But having a student advisory board where you can have them discuss what they believe is wrong and what can be helped. You can't change everything, but it's good to get an idea of what's going on around them. So they're the boots on the ground, if you will, and they give you the best examples of what's going on, and that way you can work toward correcting those situations.
How would you work to build and maintain exemplary relationships with faculty, classified staff, college administrators, and the community at large?
Again, that's a visibility. I work hard with every department now, and I attend meetings, and I believe that you have to get to know everybody, and to do that, you get out there and talk with everybody. And when you do this, you build relationships, and you know who to go to when you need something, if you will, for the student. Right now, if I have a question, I know who to ask, and that's what I'm going to get to know. Who do I go to get the answers? No, I'm not going to know all the answers for the transportation or what's going on everywhere, but I know who to talk to do it. So I think that's the most important part of it, is being out there, being visible, and talking with individuals. Stakeholders like this, the Board of Trustees, they need to know, and they're involved with everything. That's another part where I'd be visible with them and transparent, be honest with everybody what's going on. And I think that's important with that.
Thank you. Describe your experience promoting equity, a sense of inclusiveness and belonging, and increased trust in a culturally diverse environment that includes LGBTQ+, undocumented, and people of color.
So I always start early. Sorry. I believe it. I have training for DEI. We have yearly training, so we're very out and versed with education with that. LGBTQIA plus is important. Everybody needs an is able to get an education, and I think having that again ability to talk with everybody and let them know where you're at and see that it's important that DEI and everything is just it's the best thing to know is to have education for it and just be prepared for every answer that you can have. So your officers are there, they respond, they know how to deal with it, and just be prepared for everything that we do. I'm a very open person. I love talking with everybody, and I think everybody is one person. So no one's treated differently in my mind. So everybody work hard to get along, if you will.
Thank you. Provide an example of how you decide upon a significant operational change within a police department that has conflicting views by various stakeholders, and how you communicate the change to the department and the college community.
I recently had an IA investigation. This is kind of related, but it's not. A lieutenant gave us an incident on an officer, and during the research of it all and doing the interviews and everything, it ended up being the lieutenant got written up for it. He was wrong in what he did, and the officer was correct. That was difficult for the morale of the department. However, after transparency and let them know what went on, I don't believe giving everybody details because it involved the officers, but the broad perspective of it all, people realize that we're there for everybody, not just because you're a staff or you're or an individual with rank. That was difficult to sell to everybody. Most recently, we were going through. This is with retention. We were getting raises for everybody. What happened and what happened was they didn't give us a lot. It was a max of like $400 or $500 per officer. It was not a lot. So in the whole world of things, that's like $1 a day. We worked with the board and the president, and we gave up a couple positions. That deputy chief position I was talking about, we gave that up. So there was like a couple $100,000 there, $100,000 there, and then another officer for security. So what it ended up being is we got our officers, which was huge for retention, about on average like $5,000 to $7,000 raise. It was great. Worked with them. That was very difficult, but they realized that safety is the most important part, and we worked hard to get that money so the officers are happy and can stay and retention.
Thank you. Please describe your knowledge of and experience with the compliance and reporting requirements under the Jean Cleary Act.
And I'm huge with Cleary. I'm our Cleary guy, and I know everything about Cleary. Well, I can't say everything, but I report our Cleary. I work hard with our Title IX as well, and with our Cleary, so we're not over-reporting, I work with all the offices around, so like counseling services, and if individuals have reported there, we work with them, so we're not over-reporting, but I also do not under-report. Whatever happens, happens. If someone comes in and says they've been sexually assaulted, that's a part of a Cleary, and that's what we make sure we add into there. So I don't know what else to say, but I am our Cleary guy. I work with our Title IX again. With that, it's a different world with the Title IX and us. They have different rules, but they always get our reports from us, and I am very open with giving them reports so that they can investigate an incident as well. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about Cleary, but I am the very, very much, like I mentioned, a nerd about Cleary, and I think it's the most important part because in lieu of like Liberty University, everybody's seen that with that huge fines they got. It's important to be honest, open. Make sure you're reporting. Make sure you're also sending out mass notifications when responsible and everything. But those are the most important parts, is knowing the rules and make sure you're adhering to them.
Okay. As student rights, particularly the right to peaceful assembly and protest, are being challenged across the country, how do you plan to protect students' First Amendment rights while ensuring compliance with district policies and maintaining campus security.
We just recently had that. I think it's important to allow that. We had an abortion demonstration, and what we did, we allowed them to demonstrate and meet. What we did, we had officers around there, but it's not illegal. They're chalking on the sidewalks. It's not illegal to chalk on a sidewalk, so we allowed that to happen, and we let them do it. It was peaceful. There's two different sides as well, but we maintained the distance between them and allowed them to talk, and it ended up being very amicable. It was great, but it was a week worth of that. It was very challenging. We had to make sure we had officers there just in case, but we had them out of sight. We had a lot of plainclothes officers that make sure they're around. So with that, we really worked hard with it, but I think it's easy to do because you just allow it. As long as it's peaceful, you allow it and be there just in case it does not. It goes to a different level. So, but be visible, but be out of the way.
Thank you. So this is our last question. Is there anything else you would like to share that we have not asked you about today?
I guess it's important to know that I've been a police officer. I know I'm on the East Coast. I have a different world over there, but I think I can bring, it's the same thing. I can bring what I have over there, my knowledge and skills and abilities, over to the West Coast here. And I think it's important to know that I've been in the educational system for the last 16 years, and I love it. I think it's the most important part, as well as I was talking earlier with the chief, and it's important to educate the students. You don't have to put everybody in jail. You have officers meet with them and talk with them. You have a referral process. You can talk with them and educate them on what happened. You don't have to put everybody in jail. That's what I wish I would have done 28 years ago, started doing this, because I love the education part of it. Not only they get an education, you have your officers out there, make sure they're visible and educating the students, because the ultimate goal, everybody has your faculty, staff, stakeholders, everyone is the students, and them getting through this successfully, graduating, and just being successful. Again, from the East Coast, I love it over here. I think it's great. It is colder than I thought it would be, to be honest with you. I'm used to hot, so I love it. But I guess we have humidity, though. Like, go over there. It's a 90-degree day, but it's 120 if you go out there. You're running between air conditioners. But like you, we don't have snow, which is great. So with that, I implore the opportunity. I think it's important. I let everybody know I am there. I've done the education, and I have the ability to do it. And I'm a strong individual, and I'm very passionate about what I do. And I'm very open and very, very much love to see everybody and talk with everybody. I'm a huge people person. But I believe that's it.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. Everybody, Matthew Crawford, thank you again. Hello and welcome back, everyone. My name is Andrew Salinas, and I am the Assistant Sheriff for the County of Ventura. Welcome back to our audience and those joining us online and on Zoom. I'm here to moderate this discussion with the Chief of Police for the position of Police Chief with the Ventura County Community College District. So welcome, Cesar Romero. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We have 12 questions for you over a period of 45 minutes, so we'll try and manage our time. And we'll start with the first question. Okay, so please tell us how your educational background, experience, and qualifications have prepared you to serve as Chief of Police of the Ventura County Community College District. Why do you want this position in this district at this point in your career?
Thank you. Thank you to all my colleagues and friends that are here and in Zoom. My name is Cesar Romero, and I'm currently the police lieutenant at Oxnard College. I have 20 plus years of law enforcement experience and working with students, staff, and faculty. For the last 12 years as a police supervisor and manager at all 3 campuses, which has given me the technical skills and personal experience to meet the expectation of the role of the new Chief of Police. I'm adaptable, resilient, and motivated leader with strong communication skills, problem solving, and I have proven to show good judgment during critical incident responses. If I may share with you 3 critical incidents that just occurred in the last year at a campus. We had a man came on campus with a knife, stabbing a regulatory sign, emotionally disturbed. The second incident was we had a man with a gun, middle of the day on campus. And then the third one was we had a man was shot in the chest several times, so close to campus that he ran onto campus to seek medical assistance. And I bring up those incidents because I was the man in charge. I was the police in charge of those 3 incidents, and my responsibility was to coordinate the police response, the emergency response, and also the well-being of our officers, students, staff, and faculty. And on top of that, I had to make sure that the proper notifications were sent out to continue to keep the campus safe. Like I mentioned earlier, I have 20 plus years of experience in working with different departments, committees, and teams. Just to name a few, I have been part of the behavior intervention team, campus youth safety teams, graduation committees, emergency preparedness, and many, many more committees. I have also built strong working relationships with college presidents, vice chancellors, stakeholders. I have completed several operational plans for large events on campus, just to name a few: Strawberry Festival, 4th of July at Ventura College, Cinco de Mayo, our own graduation. And just to give you a perspective, some of those events will bring up to 15,000 people on our campus. And my responsibility was to ensure that the event was peaceful and safe. I am a first-generation college graduate. I'm homegrown. I was raised in Oxnard, and I attended Oxnard College and Ventura College. I received an associate's degree in criminal justice, an AA in liberal arts, and then during my career with the Ventura County Community College District, I have attended numerous of police trainings. Just to name a few, I have completed the supervisory course by POST, the California Post Management training, FEMA training, LGBTQ+ for law enforcement, crisis intervention, internal affairs, community policing, and many, many, many more trainings. And it doesn't stop there. We're going to continue to further our education when I become Chief of Police. Another important thing is that I am familiar with the training programs and requirements that California Post puts on us. I have been the post certified, I'm sorry, I've been the training coordinator for post for more than 15 years for this department. And not once have we been out of compliance. I take training very, very serious. And as a chief of police, we're going to continue to do that. I would like to also let you know or share with you that I have received throughout my career several awards. In May of 2017, I received the College Classified Award of the Month. And in 2017, I received the District Administrative Center Award of the Classified Award of the Year, which are hanging on my wall. Very proud. And then just lastly, I'd like to just assure you that I do possess the knowledge and experience of public safety systems, criminal justice systems, and emergency management systems. Thank you. I gotta get some water.
Thank you for that, Caesar. What is your leadership philosophy? Please provide an example of how you have demonstrated your leadership during regular, daily circumstances.
So, to me, leadership is everything. It starts from the top. It really does. And that's what I have been doing for the last 20 plus years, is we lead by example, because people will follow suit. I also believe in power of teams, collaborations. My leadership is rooted in sharing responsibilities, valuing our team members, and recognizing and respecting people's ideas or our team members' ideas. I think it is important that as a chief of police, again, I can say more, lead by example, but also be a great active listener. Like, listen to your peers. As a leadership, as a chief of police, I would encourage, to have an open door policy, so I can, listen to our staff, police staff, students, staff, and faculty's concerns, and that's where the team collaboration comes in. Thank you.
Okay. The 2024 election results have caused fear, anxiety, and upset for many of our students. With the new administration vocalizing plans for mass deportations and militarizing the police, how would you continue to reassure the campus communities that campus police is serving in the community's best interest and ensuring protection?
Okay. Yes, it has caused some tensions before and after the elections. I saw that on the campus level. What I would do as a police chief is, again, be an active listener. During our foot patrols, listen to our students, staff, and faculty. Maybe have a forum, right? Have a forum where people can come in and ask any questions. I'm going to give you a great example of when students are concerned or in fear. Dreamers. A couple years ago on campus, I had a few colleagues say, "Hey, Caesar, our dreamers don't want to come to school, or they feel that immigration is going to come and pick them up here at the college level, and that you are working together with the immigration." And I remember speaking to a few students in my office, and just to ensure them that they were going to be safe, that that immigration was not going to come on campus and take them, and that we were not working and we're not sharing any information with the immigration office. So, just again, communicating, listening to the concerns, finding solutions for those concerns, and just assuring everyone that everything is going to be okay. And also assuring them that we do have a police office station on campus. We have police officers that are trained constantly. We have the equipment, thanks to the district, to respond. We have the education to respond if need so. And then lastly, to finish the question, Andrew, I would like to mention that since I'm been working here in this county for so long, I have a really, really good relationship with Port Hueneme Police Department chiefs, Oxnard Police and Ventura County Sheriffs. So I know that if in the event that we need assistance, they will come out and help, and vice versa. We will go out and help. We were out there at the Camarillo fires helping out. So just assure students and faculty that we are there, and we're going to make sure that we continue to, provide our mission. Our mission of this police department is to provide a safe learning environment. And so that's what we're going to continue to do.
Thank you. As you may know, department staffing levels are at a historic low, and we are struggling with recruitment and retention. Innovative change and forward progress, combined with experienced leadership, are needed to help our department grow. How will you foster positive morale, and how can your larger outside or municipal agency experience help ensure our department is moving forward in the right direction?
Well, that's a loaded question. First of all, I'd like to touch on morale, Andrew. Morale is huge. We as leaders, lieutenants, sergeants, lieutenants, and chiefs, we have to make sure that we recognize our officers. We have to make sure we have a program in place, right? We currently have a Officer of the Year award, which is great. This is our 3rd year, I believe. We also have to make sure that, we make our staff, police staff, feel like they're part of the team. And also, we don't do enough of team building. We're separated. The district has 3 campuses, 3 police stations. So I feel that we're lacking a little bit on team building. So if I do become chief of police, I will work on that, making sure that we're all one team, not one campus versus another. Staffing. So we are understaffed, and I want to assure the district that we are not the only police department understaffed. I believe it's a California issue. However, we have all pulled together. All our officers that we have currently, and lieutenants. I'm working up to 40, 50 hours a week, to make the department continue. But I also know we have some good things coming up. If you're not aware, the district just approved the training program, which I'm really proud and thankful, because this academy that it's going on right now in Camarillo, behind our wall here, we have 2 trainees, and they will be graduating hopefully soon, so we can get them going through the field training process and get more people on board. The other thing that I will continue to support as a chief of police is hiring provisionals, part-time police officers who have probably retired from another department, that still kind of want to work a little bit. Maybe they don't want to be home. I don't know. But we have options for that. We have the provisional status. So I know we have one in backgrounds. So that's going to be an extra help. But I just want to assure you that as a chief of police, I will continue to market and speak with Lieutenant Polado and see what we're doing, and what can we do more to have more police officers on campus. We did have 17 applicants, I believe, or 15, and we're having interviews this week. We're having interviews for the positions that we have available. And if you know anybody that wants to be a police officer, tell them to look at the training information we have on our website. We are understaffed. We understand it. We're working through it, and we will continue to work to make sure we have a safe learning environment for our students, staff, and faculty.
You got it. Thank you, Cesar. Earlier, you had mentioned some critical incidents in your opening statement. With this question, can you describe a time when you had to respond to a critical incident? What went well? What could have gone better? And what did you learn from the experience?
If I may go back to one of the incidents I shared with you, the community member that was shot in the chest several times and ran onto campus to seek medical attention. Um, Again, I was responsible. I was the commander in charge, um, and what I learned that day, just on my personal level, I had my AR, my rifle, with me, right? And the rifles, they have a dust cover, and we usually store our rifles in our vehicles, and with the dust cover on. And so, after the incident, I looked at my rifle and I said, you know, when we are stressed, little things become harder. Some things become harder. And I realized, you know what? From now on, if I have to deploy my AR-15, that dust cover is always going to be off. That's one less thing I have to worry about. I don't want to, use it and not have any sights, right? And so that's what I learned on my personal level, but I also shared it immediately with my officers because we're human, and if it happens to me, it can happen to them. And so, yeah, the dust cover is important, but we're not in the desert. Our patrol rifles are in a unit where they're safe and away from outside elements. Excuse me. So that's what I've learned, Andrew, is keeping that dust cover off. And then what was the second part of the question?
And what went well, what could have gone better, and what did you learn from the experience?
Okay, thank you. What went well? During that incident with the shot victim, I later found out that if it wasn't for our police officers that responded and pretty much covered this man's hole with a chest seal, this man would have passed away. The man survived. Our officers, I go back to leadership. Our officers were awarded, with a comment card, letting them know that not only did they save somebody's life, but there were heroic, situations that it's tough. It's tough when we're under stress to think, and luckily, again, we have a great department. We have some really great officers. They're constantly training, and when it comes to action, they handle business. And we're going to continue to do that as a new chief of police.
Thank you. What would you see as your role as chief of police with regard to our students? How will you stay informed about student needs, interests, and concerns across the 3 colleges?
So I'm huge on community policing. Every day I go to work, I use community policing. Why? Because community policing will foster, those relationships those working relationships with the police department. And it's been shown in data that when we have a robust community policing program, people are more inclined to report a crime. Students are more inclined to go and talk to you. I can tell you right now, sir, I can walk on campus, I can tell you everybody's name. I can tell you what they do. I know I can count on them, and they know they can count on me. So that's what I'm going to continue to do as a new chief of police, but also making sure that our officers, lieutenants, and sergeants are doing the same thing. Because at the end of the day, I mentioned the mission and core values of this department is to provide a safe learning environment and to foster interactions with our students, staff, and faculty with the most respect and dignity. Thank you.
Thank you. How would you work to build and maintain exemplary relationships with faculty, classified staff, college administrators, and the community at large?
I kind of touched on that on my bio, on my first question. Just do the same. Continue to work on building those strong working relationships with our college presidents, our vice presidents, our stakeholders, the city, our ASG, student government, associate student government on campus, our LGBTQ club. We have a lot of clubs on campus. So what I would do as a chief of police, and I would expect the same from our officers, is to go out there and collaborate, and again, listen and smile, and make sure that we break that line of communication. So if anything is happening on campus, they're going to be inclined to report it, and they might prevent an active shooter scenario because of just that working relationship that we have with our campus community.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Describe your experience promoting equity, a sense of inclusiveness and belonging, and increased trust in a culturally diverse environment that includes LGBTQ+, undocumented, and people of color.
So I kind of talked about already LGBTQ plus training that I have attend to. Also, as a chief of police, we have to acknowledge our culture. I come from a minority culture. I was born in Mexico. My first language was Spanish, and by the way, I am bilingual. So I understand it. I've also been lucky enough to work at all three campuses. And as we all know, all three campuses have different culture and diversities. And so I've been able to experience that and work around that. And also be mindful of conscious bias, be aware of that. And also encourage students, staff, and faculty for feedback. Make them feel like they're part of the team. I know the district is huge on diverse and equity and inclusion. And as a chief of police, we're going to continue to follow suit.
Okay. Provide an example of how you decide upon a significant operational change within a police department that has conflicting views by various stakeholders, and how you communicate the change to the department and the college community.
So I believe on agreeing and disagreeing, right? But also, what I would do as a chief of police is, if there is going to be a change or an update, I want to let them know, at least our police staff, on our weekly meetings. That's one thing that we do have. We have supervisor weekly meetings that I will continue to support. We have once a month we have a police staff meeting. I will continue to support that. I think it's great because we have to communicate to our police staff any changes. And as a chief of police, my responsibility is going to be to let my police staff know why we made this decision, and just have to go with it. At the end of the day, we have a boss. I have a boss. Everybody has a boss. But I think we have to be clear as a chief of police and communicate to our staff, to our police staff, that this is what's going on, and these are the changes that are going to be. If we do have changes that require training, hey, as a chief of police, I'm going to send them to training. But just to kind of finish that question, it's just working together to accomplish the same goal and go home safe at the end of the day.
Thank you. Please describe your knowledge of and experience with the compliance and reporting requirements under the Jean Cleary Act.
So the Cleary Act, it's an act that it was in 1986. Jean Cleary was a female student that was attending Lehigh University in Pennsylvania. Jean Cleary was raped and murdered on campus. And what happened was the parents obviously wanted to do more and prevent that from happening to other students. So what they created was, they created the Jean Cleary Act, which it's the right to know. So if you have a son or daughter that is going out of the state, attending a university, you now have the right to know the crime stats, like what happens on campus, which that they didn't have that when Jake Clary was around. Um, they also made sure that they implemented, excuse me, the annual report. So every October 1st, colleagues, if you don't know, you're more than welcome to stop by the police station October 1st. We can give you a copy of our crime stats, our daily logs, and our timely warning messages. All this was fought and won by her parents, because if they knew that all these crimes were happening on that campus, her daughter wouldn't have attended. So it's really important. As the new chief of police, we continue to work with Ches, making sure, and Andrew Bumless, that we make sure that our daily logs are inputted, that October 1st annual report, security report is available to our staff, student, and faculty. Thank you.
As student rights, particularly the right to peaceful assembly and protest, are being challenged across the country, how do you plan to protect students' First Amendment rights while ensuring compliance with district policies and maintaining campus safety?
Good question. We get that a lot on our campuses, from abortion group. And so I have a lot of experience in those type of situations. And I have a process. My process is, first of all, I would like to talk about the abortion group that comes on campus. My process is I go and speak to the main person, the leader, and let them know, hey, look, I'm not against what you're doing, but I know from experience that those photos that you display are graphic. So we're going to have students and staff, faculty complaining. But I also want you to know that I'm in the middle. You need to do what you need to do on campus. You have First Amendment right, and I'm going to respect that. But make sure you don't block any sidewalks, any doors. You don't really engage. And you know what? It's worked every time, Andrew. Every time. On top of that, we've learned to notify our students, staff, and faculty when they're barely setting up. Not even when they're like already set up. And just notifying and informing our students, staff, and faculty to kind of stay away from the area if you really want to see those pictures, if you can avoid the area, but they're going to be here for a little while. And so I think the communication that I have with the leader, with the notification that we send out to our students, staff, faculty, that little event, honestly, it becomes peaceful. But we had to learn. We didn't do that before in the past. And so, yes, we had people in front of the pictures, try to take them down. And so now that we have this process, it has worked beautiful. And I use that same process for any other event or any other group that would like to share their beliefs. We have a religion group that comes on campus almost every day. They sit on outside the library. I've had complaints about that, but I also have to educate our staff, student, and faculty that we all have rights, and I cannot violate people's rights. But it's just communicating, and then I try my best to send those kind of groups to our freedom of speech area. Every campus should have one. We have one at Oxnard College, but our freedom of speech area is at a location where all you're going to see is probably squirrels, birds, maybe not a lot of people walking through. So they don't go to the freedom of speech area, which is fine. They go on campus, but again, as long as they don't disturb our students, our classroom sessions, you know what? Let them be. Thank you.
Okay, Cesar, we are almost at the end of our interview here. Is there anything else you would like to share that we have not asked you about?
Wow. Yes, thank you for that. Again, thank you for all my colleagues and friends that have shown me support throughout the few weeks. I really appreciate it. I know you have my back and I have your back. I would like to share also that as the new chief of police, I will ensure and continue to foster those interactions with our students, staff, and faculty with the most respect. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us today, everyone. Cesar Romero, thank you again. Hi, welcome back, everyone, to our audience and those joining us on Zoom or online. My name is Andrew Salinas. I am the Assistant Sheriff of Ventura County, here to moderate this public forum for the position of Police Chief for the Ventura County Community District. Here right now, our third applicant, Jeff Nettleton. He's joining us this morning, and he'll be answering a total of 12 questions. All right, Jeff, so let's get started.
Okay.
So please tell us how your educational background, experience, and qualifications have prepared you to serve as Chief of Police of the Ventura County Community College District. Why do you want this position in this district at this point in your career?
Well, my education entails that I went to Moorpark College and obtained 2 separate degrees. I also went to Cal State Northridge, but I left that in my senior year to go pursue a career in law enforcement, which was my dream because I wanted to give back to the community. I did 25 years as a deputy sheriff right here in Ventura County, and all but 2 of my years of my life I've lived in the county itself, and I'm very familiar with the demographics that are here. And while I was on the department, I was able to supervise at 3 separate patrol stations, 2 specialized units, as a custody supervisor, as well as a station and administrative supervisor. And I wanted to give back. I've been away from the department for a little bit, but my calling has always been to come back. And since I did I thought a phenomenal job in supervising and building up staff and getting them to progress in their careers to be more than just a frontline officer. There's nothing wrong with that, but to achieve their goals and to go forward with their life and give back to the community.
Thank you. What is your leadership philosophy? Please provide an example of how you have demonstrated your leadership during regular, daily circumstances.
While I was on the department, as a supervisor, I was sought out by other deputies to come work for me. And it's because I treated everybody with respect, I built them up, and I didn't care when I came onto a particular patrol station or a different assignment what their history was. I looked at them as an individual with a clean slate, and I treated them fairly. And I told them my expectations, and I told them I'd be their advocate, and I would do whatever I can to boost their career, listen to them, whatever their family problems are. I wanted to be involved in their lives. And with that, I found that people respected me. They wanted to do things for me when I was a scheduling senior. I was also working as an admin supervisor. Whenever I asked something, people would do it for me because they know that I had their best interest in mind.
Okay. The 2024 election results have caused fear, anxiety, and upset for many of our students. With the new administration vocalizing plans for mass deportations and militarizing the police, how would you continue to reassure the campus communities that campus police is serving in the community's best interest and ensuring protection?
Well, the best way to do that is to meet and greet people and talk to them. Meet them on their own level. Hear them out. I mean, we all have differences of opinions. We all have different views, but maybe we can put that all together to achieve a common goal. I don't know what this new presidency is going to hold. People make a lot of statements, and we'll have to wait to see what happens. But in the interim, I think the best thing to do is work together and talk about things. Talk about their fears. Talk about how they can progress and not let that interfere with the faculty, staff, and students' harmony on campus. I want their learning experience to be the best because their learning experience will only guide them for the rest of their life.
Thank you. Our department's staffing levels are at a historic low, and we are struggling with recruitment and retention. Innovative change and forward progress, combined with experienced leadership, are needed to help our department grow. How will you foster positive morale, and how can your larger outside or municipal agency experience help ensure our department is moving forward in the right direction?
Well, I've already pursued that, and the military has what's called a TAPS program. It's a transition assistance program to people that are coming out of the military. And they're structured, and they're willing to want to give back to their community. They serve their country. So I'm looking to tap into that, into that resource and allow them maybe an understand what the complaints or are the goals of the current staff. I know that we probably just lost one candidate who's applying for another agency right now. And find out what's lacking. Talk to me. I'm always have an open door. I really do want to know my staff and be involved in their lives and be involved in the bolstering of their careers. Maybe promotions, maybe a collateral assignment is what they need to feel more empowered.
Good, thank you. Can you describe a time when you had to respond to a critical incident? What went well? What could have gone better? And what did you learn from the experience?
The critical incident comes to mind is when I responded with 3 other deputies to a call of a disturbance at a residence over in the city of Thousand Oaks. And there was a woman screaming outside of this residence. We didn't know whether it was a domestic issue or a neighbor dispute in some shape or form. The door was open. We made entry into it, and we found that there were 2 deceased children that had been stabbed to death multiple times, as well as the father, or the suspect, had killed himself via pills. But I was the one that stayed in there with those children and that suspect, and I pushed the other deputies out because I had the experience in the major crimes unit as a homicide detective and sexual assault detective to be able to equip myself. How I could have handled it better is I think I should have left somebody else in the courtroom, because it is a very traumatic scene. Nothing that you see on TV or in the movies can even come close to being the horrific and graphic display of what's in front of you on a murder scene, especially when it comes to children. And there's one thing that did come out of that is I did speak to a counselor on the department that was brought forward as a debrief, and I asked if we could, the officers at Wayne, to please give us an opportunity to either go to the funeral or get a little additional counseling, because it was such a horrific event.
Thank you. What would you see as your role as Chief of Police with regard to our students? How will you stay informed about student needs, interests, and concerns across the 3 colleges?
Well, I believe in walking around a campus and talking to people. I think that that's important to do. It really is. You're not going to know who your students are, what their concerns are, unless you talk to them. Although a lot of students aren't going to talk, but I want to try to gain that trust with them, but also have an open forum where they can submit any kind of request to them, and I'll be more than happy to get back to them within a day or 2, if not shorter.
Okay, thank you. How would you work to build and maintain exemplary relationships with faculty, classified staff, college administrators, and the community at large?
Well, I have an open door policy, and I want to come in and meet with them, even if it's a cup of coffee or even a chat in the middle of the hallway, or even to have it open communications. They can call me. I have a cell phone. If they want to call me 24 hours a day, I'm open with that. I was that way when I was a supervisor in the sheriff's department. If somebody needed anything, just to talk to me about a concern, and I had other deputies would do that. They'd call me about their family concerns. They'd call me about, hey, I've got a question about how to do this on an assignment. And I go, well, did you talk to your immediate supervisor? And they go, no, we trust your opinion. And so I want to just incorporate that and continue with that to serve the students, faculty, and staff, and even the community at large, because we have such a population. I think it's about 30,000 plus students and faculty belong to the 3 colleges and the district itself.
Okay, thank you.
A little closer.
Sorry. Describe your experience promoting equity, a sense of inclusiveness and belonging, and increased trust in a culturally diverse environment that includes LGBTQ+, undocumented, and people of color.
Well, you described a lot of the officers I worked with on the sheriff's department, and we were friends, and we got along, and we talked about community stuff, and I even went out and did stuff with them. I mean, to me, they're just everybody. We're all just people. I mean, yes, we put ourselves in different classes and and statuses, but we're all people. We all need each other. That's the biggest thing. And the only way we can ever get farther and down the road and get past a lot of these issues that seem to be plaguing our country right now is that we all just sit down and talk, get along. A smile goes a long way with people, or even a hi, or just to even just, hey, how you doing? And be genuine about wanting to response. That's the way I look at things.
Okay, thank you. Provide an example of how you decide upon a significant operational change within a police department that has conflicting views by various stakeholders, and how you communicate the change to the department and the college community.
Can you clarify what stakeholders are?
Stakeholders in the communities, nonprofits, people associated with the college.
Well, the best way I'm going to look at that is I'm going to take the views of the faculty, staff, and students who are going to be on the campuses first. Incorporate that with what California law says, what the district policy says, first of all, and see if there's room to make a change. If there's room to make a change, then is it possible to go forward with that? And in incorporating with the stakeholders as you described for me, I would think that it would be, sorry, I need to hold it closer. I think it would be best to hear them all out. We all have common ground. We should be listening to diverse comments, diverse ideas. That's what makes us America. That's what makes a college environment, is all these diverse ideas coming in and learn and maybe come up with an answer that none of us could have come up with on their own.
Thank you. Please describe your knowledge of and experience with the compliance and reporting requirements under the Jean Cleary Act.
Well, in the Jean Cleary Act, you have to report on violent crimes, sexual assaults, which would be dating, or domestic violence, stalking, vehicle thefts, burglaries, hate crimes. And in going with that, you have to go and publish every year on the 1st of October a report that shows the crime statistics as well as the policies and procedures for the past 3 years, and to make that available, as well as incident reporting for something that's going to immediately affect the populace around on the campus itself, and anything that could be even ongoing. I'm a firm believer in putting it out there and let people have the knowledge of it. I don't want them walking around in fear or side guessing. If they know facts, people can make educated decisions and not be fearful.
Thank you. As student rights, particularly the right to peaceful assembly and protest, are being challenged across the country, how do you plan to protect students' First Amendment rights while ensuring compliance with district policies and maintaining campus safety?
Well, we are all given free speech in this country. It's the First Amendment. And I think that peaceful protests are fine as long as they don't interrupt the harmony and peace of the campus. I mean, you have learning. People are there to learn, and they're there to get a good education and feel safe. And they don't want to walk to class fearing that they're going to be harmed. And if it comes down to that, where you have barricades, you have all those other things, those need to come down, because students are first here. The faculty's safety is first, as well as the staff's safety. And as long as they have an environment that's conducive to them and learning and growing and contributing to the community as a whole, I think that it's okay to voice their opinions, but in a way we can voice opinions in a way that's safe and peaceful.
Okay. As we're at the end of our interview, Jeff, is there anything else you would like to share that we have not asked you about?
Well, given the opportunity to become the district chief of police, I'm going to bring my leadership skills, my investigative skills, because I was a detective, as mentioned, in the sexual assault and homicide unit, as well as a general investigations detective and a gang unit detective. And my leadership skills, as well as my people skills, I like to work in a collaborative way to bring resources together to accomplish goals. And that is my goal, is to bring the college environment together. And I want to serve the public. I believe it's at my time in my life. I want to come back out of retirement to do that.
Well, Well, Jeff, that concludes our interview. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Everyone, Jeff Nettleton. Thank you.